In this video, I'm going to be installing a hardtop hoist system on my garage ceiling for my hardtop on my Jeep. Stay tuned. Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Juan Carlos. Something I've been meaning to do for quite some time now is get a hoist system for my Jeep's rooftop to mount onto my garage's ceiling, and I went with the Launch Hoist. It's a gear manual system. So I'm gonna go ahead and open up the box, show you the parts, and we're gonna go ahead and install it. I ordered this online from Hardtop. So this is the box, hoist stay top. Just gonna get everything out. I have other parts on the table. We're gonna start with the strap. This is gonna go in the center. And at the end, you have these grommets that go on the side of the top. You insert this inside the top of the hardtop through the grommet. You got some log screws and 14 wood screws. You got a D-ring. You have wire locks, washers, wire thumbos. Here are the pulleys. They're a lot smaller than what I thought. This goes on back of the hardtop. Got your cable. You have your manual with your instructions. And you have your gear and your crank. Now on the gear, here's the shaft. You have a lock nut here. The winding brace. It's sort of like that. Tighten her up. And it's a very low ratio. My plan is to wind it up with a power drill, so I won't need this winding brace at all. Let's head out to the garage and get started. We made it to the garage. I cannot tell you how excited I am to do this project. This is something I've been meaning to do for quite some time now. I can't wait for the day that I back in my Jeep. Within 5 to 10 minutes, take off my top and off I go. You want to go ahead and get yourself a stud finder so you can find the studs on the ceiling. As you can see, I got one there and the other one there. I'm at 16 inches apart. My studs are 16 inches apart. I'm gonna go ahead and cut my 2x4 20 inches to give myself 2 inches on each side. I went to Home Depot and I got myself a 2x10. The manual says 2x6, but a 2x10 is what they had at my local Home Depot, so that's what I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go ahead and cut my board 20 inches apart. My studs are 16 inches apart, so I'm gonna give myself 2 inches on each side, and this is to support the hardware for the lift. Okay, I have my 3 boards. Thought I'm gonna go on the ceiling. The first thing I did is draw a line right in the center, and then I threw one line on each side marking the 16 inches, so when I screw these to the ceiling I know what my studs are going to be. These are 16 inches side to side, so you can see that's 16 inches. My double pulley that's going to go on the wall, I lined up the pulley right in the center, then the second pulley right in the center of the line, then my third pulley, you want to go off facing the wall to the right 1 inch. I marked it 1 inch off, nice and centered. That way the outer pulley is lined up with the pulley on the right hand side, which will be where the gear is. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to go ahead and screw them in. In order to screw the bracket onto the wood, you want to remove the pulley wheel. In order to do that, you have these spring cutter washers, the pair of pliers, you take them right out. Like so. Remove the axle. You're going to notice on the bottom of the pulley bracket you have these welding tabs that are going to penetrate the wood for a solid installation. I'm going to be using the screws that the kit provided. Put the pulley back on. Notice on the double pulley, I did not have to take out the pulleys. It's the hole that's lined up in between both pulleys, so you got plenty of room to drill in. The center of the garage, I have this dock. I believe that's the AC dock. So I gotta move the pulleys to the side of it. So I got the Jeep moved to the side of the garage. Therefore, I had to move the pulleys 3.5 inches to the right to accommodate where the Jeep's gonna be parking. Or down here, I've confirmed I got a scratch out, and I've confirmed that the stud is there. Same thing on the other side. Stud is there. I'm ready to install the first board, the first pulley. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to drill these screws before I take it to the ceiling, right where the studs are, here and here. It'll make it easier once I get to the ceiling. I inserted the screws. Now let's go ahead and put the first board up on the ceiling. Okay, I got all 4 boards. I got the 3 boards bolted onto the ceiling, and the gear board bolted onto the wall. I was not able to find the studs on this wall, so I'm using these 1/4 inch by 4 tugger bolts attaching to the drywall itself. Same thing with that first board. I couldn't find the studs on the ceiling, and as you can see, I did a very poor job installing that board, so I'm gonna have to redo that board. I thought it was straight, so way off. So I'm gonna have to redo it. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. I've got my board ready with a toggle bolt. It's just a matter of installing the board on the ceiling now. I got the ceiling all marked up, ready to go. It's time to get your cable out. They give you 43 feet of cable. You want to measure 23 feet on one side and 20 feet on the other side. On the 23-foot side, I put a nail. That way I know that that's the long side, so I won't get confused.
During the installation.
What I've done here, I've just presented the cables, make sure everything lines up. This is my long cable where the gear is. Goes all the way down to the gear side, nicely lined up. Then I got my short cable away from the gear, and that lines up very nicely. So now we're ready to actually insert the cable onto the gear. We'll go ahead and do that next. Now it's time to feed the cable onto the gear. Now I have my blue tape with the L, meaning the long side, the 23-footer. I'm gonna feed the short side from the left side, the left ring, right through the center ring here, like so. So I'm gonna feed that all the way to my black duct tape. So here's my black duct tape. So we're gonna stop right there. Now I'm gonna get the short side again and feed it back through the center ring here. Finding my point. Like so. Now I'm going to get my long side and feed it back to the right side of the gear, next to the gear. I'm going to find my end here. I'm going to pull it through now. So this is my long cable with the blue tape. It's going to stay on the right side of the gear next to the actual gear. Then my short cable on the outside, on the left side, away from the gear, and that will be consistent of what we've done with the pulleys. The pulleys on the right hand side, the longer, left side shorter. I'm going to go ahead and remove this blue tape because now I already know what's what. Like so. I'm going to go ahead and start feeding my cables up to the pulleys. I'm going to grab the one on the right hand side. That will be my long one. And feed it to the right hand side of my top pulley here. Finding my end here. This will be my long cable. The ladder keeps getting in the way. There we go. Now I'm going to get my short cable. that right through, like so. I'm going to feed my short cable to the first pulley, the short pulley. Like so. Now I'm going to feed my long cable to the last pulley, the one that's offset. There we go. I have my pulleys all connected, all lined up, and my cable onto the gear. Perfect. Before I bring the Jeep in, I'm gonna go ahead and fasten all the hardware at the end of the cables. It's easier to do it on top of this table when I'm filming versus bringing the actual Jeep in and doing it on top of the Jeep. The hardware consists of the front strap and the rear bracket. I'm going to go ahead and install the front cable onto the strap. What I'm going to do, I'm going to get my thimble, pass it through the strap, get 3 of these wire clamps, insert them first. It's a lot easier versus if you undo all the screws after. So I'm going to pass the cable. Now I'm going to push the cable clamps through. You want to make sure that the round side of the clamp is on the short cable. That's the most secure when it comes to these pipe clamps. Everything's nice and even. Let me go ahead and get a socket. You want to get an 8mm socket. I'm going to go ahead and tighten up the first one on top. Keep everything nice and straight. You don't want to over tighten these too much because more than likely you're going to have to adjust this. I'm going to put this last one right next to the thimble. So there you have it. I'm going to do exactly the same thing with the bracket now. I have my hardware ready to go, but before I bring in the Jeep, I'm going to wind these cables onto the gear to get rid of all the slack. I'm not going to use the winding handle. I'm going to use a power drill to wind it up. This is 19mm socket. I'm going to go ahead and get the Jeep in now. Alright guys, now that we're back at the Jeep, we're gonna insert the stud where the strap's gonna fit in. It consists of a stud, washer, nut, and wing nut. So let's go ahead and do that. You're gonna get your stud and insert it through the hole towards the door. The last hole next to the door. You lift up your top. Insert the stud. Get your washer. Get your nut. Get your washer. Then get your nut. Now I'm gonna go ahead and do the other side. I got my strap nice and even for the front. All I'm gonna do is bring it over and hook up the grommet to the stud. So let's go ahead and do that. The grommet inserts right there. Okay, wing nut. I'm gonna get a washer. The kit did bring 2 extra washers. I'm guessing they go here. That way you have a washer between the wing nut and the grommet. You don't want to smash the grommet in like so. Just hand tight, not to be crazy tight. Let's do the other side now. See how I have slack here on the inside of the Jeep? I'm gonna get the slack out because my strap doesn't reach on the other side. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I got all the slack off. This has a nice, it's like a vinyl to protect your hardtop on the corners. You got a nice vinyl here and a nice vinyl here to protect your hardtop. It's a nice touch. I'm on top of the Jeep, and as you can see, I got my front strap ready to go. I'm about to insert my rear bracket, but I'm having a problem. No matter what I do, I cannot get this in there. I believe that's where this little guy comes in, the D-ring. I put the D-ring here so the quick disconnect so I can feed the bracket from the bottom of the Jeep, the bottom of the window. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, see if that's a correct theory that I have. I presented the bracket here. I took it off the wire, so the bracket just attaches like so, and it goes right into that frame just like that. So with the D-ring on top, we just loop it up there. Let's go up there. So I got my bracket coming out of the bottom. I'm gonna get my D-ring and feed it. As you can see, that's the way it works. The hook, it's the wires on the bracket. I'm very excited for this. Moment of truth. Ultracon goes topless. Here we go. I'm extremely excited. Now I can take off my hardtop by myself. If you own a Wrangler, no matter what model it is, you know, Wranglers don't come alive till you take the top off. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. If you like this video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification button for future videos. Till next time, everybody. Let's talk about some details. I unwinded the wire all the way out and rewinded it with tension. It gives me a nice tight fit versus when I winded originally the wire, it was loose, and when I put the hardtop, it got tangled because the wire was loose, and putting the hardtop, there was pressure, it got all tangled up. So now it's running smoothly. I also went to Home Depot and I got these spring links to the quick releases for the bracket and the strap. What I've done here, I lowered the top to the floor, readjusted the wire clamps, and it should go up nice and even. I went to Home Depot and I got these spring links with a ice screw, and I tied them opposite side. That way they're nice and tucked. I was not gonna leave the strap and the bracket hanging over the garage. Baby girl puts her car in here. So I'm not gonna do that. So this is the final product. And I'm very happy with it.